What if I told you the zombie, one of horror's most iconic monsters, didn't rise from Hollywood, but from the eerie whispers of Haitian folklore? These tales of reanimated corpses have crept from the shadows of myth to dominate billion-dollar blockbusters. But how did this undead legend crawl from superstition to mainstream stardom? Stick around, because today, we're unraveling the chilling evolution of the zombie. Grab your torches, sharpen your machetes, and let's dive in. Have you ever wondered where the idea of zombies truly began? Surprisingly, it wasn't born in Hollywood. It's rooted in Haiti's spiritual traditions, where the undead symbolized something far more chilling than flesh-eating monsters. Our journey begins in Haiti, a land steeped in folklore and spirituality. Here, the zombie was not a mindless monster, but a tragic figure, stripped of humanity and enslaved by a bokor, a sorcerer known for dark and malevolent practices. In Haitian Vodou, zombies weren't ravenous for brains, but condemned to a far darker fate, robbed of their souls and forced to serve another's will. Imagine losing not just your freedom, but your very essence. This was the terrifying reality the zombie represented. Consider the story of Clervius Narcisse, a Haitian man whose case shocked the world in 1962. Narcisse claimed he was poisoned, buried alive, and later resurrected as a zombie to toil on a plantation. His chilling account wasn't about gore or horror, but about control, exploitation, and the ultimate loss of agency. For Haitians, the zombie wasn't just a creature. It was a metaphor for the dehumanizing horrors of slavery, an enduring reminder of the nation's painful history. But how did this deeply spiritual and symbolic figure evolve into the shambling, brain-hungry creatures we know today? To answer that, we need to fast forward to the cultural revolution of the 1960s. What do you think? Are the spiritual roots of the zombie more terrifying than their Hollywood counterparts? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for the next chapter of this undead evolution. Imagine walking into a movie theater in 1968 and leaving with your worldview shattered, not by the apocalypse, but by a monster that forced you to question society itself. That was the genius of George A. Romero. In 1968, George A. Romero didn't just create a horror movie. He reshaped an entire genre. With Night of the Living Dead, produced on a shoestring budget, Romero unleashed a new kind of terror. These weren't the enslaved, tragic figures of Haitian folklore. Romero's zombies were flesh-hungry ghouls, mindless creatures driven purely by instinct. Yet these ghouls were far more than just monsters. They were mirrors reflecting our deepest fears. Romero's brilliance was in using zombies to critique society. In Night of the Living Dead, released during the Civil Rights era, he cast a black protagonist and delivered a gut-punch ending that spoke volumes about race relations in America. In Dawn of the Dead, he turned a shopping mall into a haunting metaphor for consumerism, where zombies became stand-ins for mindless shoppers. And let's not forget the unforgettable aesthetic Romero gave us. Tattered clothes, hollow eyes, and that bone-chilling stiff gait. He didn't just create monsters, he set the standard for what we fear most about the undead. Romero's zombies didn't just haunt, they made us think. What societal fears do you think zombies represent today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned as we explore how these shambling horrors evolved into pop culture juggernauts. What's scarier than a zombie creeping toward you? A zombie sprinting after you like it's training for the Olympics. In 2002, Danny Boyle flipped the script with a single, terrifying question. What if zombies weren't slow and shambling? What if they were fast enough to make you question every life decision? Enter 28 Days Later, a film that redefined fear. Boyle's infected weren't technically zombies. They were victims of a rage virus, stripped of humanity and consumed by blind aggression. But let's be real. They were terrifying enough to earn their place in zombie lore. Gone was the slow, creeping dread of Romero's Undead. Boyle's Infected brought chaos, relentless, adrenaline-pumping chaos. These weren't monsters you could outwalk. They were nightmares forcing you to run, think fast, and never stop. The brilliance of 28 Days Later wasn't just in its fast-moving Infected. It was in its atmosphere of unrelenting urgency. Survival became a test of speed and endurance. Hesitate, and you're dead. Cardio, your new best friend. Run for your life wasn't a metaphor anymore. It was the only rule of survival. And Boyle didn't just change the game. He created a cultural shift. From video games to blockbuster films, the fast zombie became the ultimate predator, turning survival horror into an adrenaline rush. Suddenly, survival wasn't about strategy. It was about sprinting like your life depended on it. What do you think? Are fast zombies or slow zombies more terrifying? Let us know in the comments, and stick around to see how these undead nightmares continued to evolve into pop culture powerhouses. By the 2010s, zombies were everywhere, on TV screens, in movies, and controlling your video game marathons. But why did they remain at the top of pop culture? Because zombies weren't just monsters. They were mirrors, reflecting our struggles, fears, and humanity. Take AMC's The Walking Dead. It wasn't just about surviving an apocalypse. It was a masterclass in exploring human morality, leadership, and the fragile hope that keeps us moving forward. Sure, the zombies were terrifying, but the real horror came from the survivors. Their choices, betrayals, and desperation made us question, how far can someone go before they lose their humanity? It reminded us that the most dangerous monsters are often the people trying to stay alive. Meanwhile, Hollywood was turning up the intensity. World War Z took zombies from shambling horrors to a relentless global threat. CGI hordes overwhelmed cities, scaling walls and toppling armies with terrifying efficiency. It wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about confronting the sheer impossibility of escaping a tidal wave of chaos. And then came video games, where the apocalypse wasn't just something you watched, it was something you lived. Resident Evil brought survival horror into the mainstream, combining gore, tension, and puzzles in unforgettable ways. The Last of Us took it even further, blending heart-pounding terror with an emotionally devastating story of love, loss, and survival. These games didn't just let us fight the undead. They forced us to face what it means to be human in a world gone mad. Zombies have taken over every corner of pop culture, but which version sticks with you the most? From The Walking Dead to The Last of Us, tell us what kept you glued to the screen or your controller in the comments below. And stay tuned, because the Undead story isn't over yet. What is it about zombies that keeps them lurching back into our stories, decade after decade? Maybe it's because they're not just monsters, they're mirrors, reflecting the fears and obsessions of every era they invade. Zombies aren't just horror icons, they're cultural chameleons. They adapt to the anxieties of the moment, making them endlessly relevant. During pandemics, zombies embody the fear of contagion and the loss of control over our bodies. In times of economic uncertainty, they symbolize mindless consumerism, devouring everything in sight. And when society feels fractured, the zombie apocalypse becomes a backdrop to explore human resilience or its breaking point. But zombies aren't always terrifying. Sometimes they're funny, as in Shaun of the Dead. Other times they're heartbreaking, like in The Walking Dead, when a loved one's transformation forces impossible choices. These moments remind us that zombies aren't just monsters, they're blank slates, ready to reflect the best and worst of humanity. And let's be honest, part of their charm is how accessible they are. Unlike vampires with their designer wardrobes or werewolves with their elaborate transformations, zombies are the everyman's monster. Grab an old shirt, splash on some fake blood, or ketchup in a pinch, and perfect your groan. It doesn't get more DIY than that. Their adaptability is why they thrive across mediums, from blockbuster films to indie comics, and even literary classics reimagined with a zombie twist. Pride and Prejudice and zombies, anyone? Zombies evolve with us, making them as timeless as they are terrifying. Why do you think zombies remain so iconic? Is it their adaptability, their relatability, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts below, and stick around, because this Undead story is far from over. From ancient folklore to blockbuster hits, the zombie has proven itself to be the ultimate survivor, not just of death, but of cultural relevance. The journey of the zombie is nothing short of remarkable. From the mystical Vodou rituals of Haiti, where it symbolized the horrors of enslavement, to the chaos of Hollywood blockbusters, where it embodies our deepest fears, the zombie has evolved alongside us. Its endurance isn't just in its undead nature, it's in its ability to adapt, transforming to reflect the anxieties and desires of every generation. Zombies aren't just monsters, they're metaphors. They make us confront our deepest fears, losing control, societal collapse, or even the darkest parts of ourselves. And perhaps that's why they resonate so deeply. Whether shambling through deserted streets or sprinting at breakneck speed, zombies remind us what it means to fight for survival, hold on to hope, and cling to our humanity when all seems lost. So the next time you see a zombie on screen, remember, it's not just a monster. It's a reflection of the fragility, resilience, and complexity of the human experience. And as long as humanity has fears to face, the zombie will never truly die. What's your favorite zombie moment? A scene that gave you chills, made you laugh, or left you thinking long after the credits rolled? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the weird, wild, and wonderful world of storytelling.